Hi guys. We are going to do 10.7b, and these are actually going to be your last set of notes for the whole school year, so that's exciting. Next week you're just going to have kind of a review assignment over exponentials and geometric sequences, and then the following week you just have ALEKS, and then you're going to have a little catch-up week. So this is the last set of notes for algebra for the year. Woohoo! 10.7b is still about geometric sequences, which is what we just did on Monday, and you are going to find a specific term. So if I want to find the 100th term of a geometric sequence and have it, instead of having to sit there and multiply 100 times to get to that number, I can plug it into a formula. We did the same thing with arithmetic sequences. So the term you're trying to find is always called your nth term. So that's what this is all titled, nth term. There is a formula, it looks like this. an equals a1 times r to the n minus 1 power. So the left-hand side of this formula, an, is just notation. It's simply telling you what term you are finding. All of the work is done on the right-hand side of this formula. A1 is the first term in the sequence, so you're going to be given that. You're either going to be given the sequence or you're going to be flat out told A1 is the first term. Your common ratio, just like we talked about before, is what you are multiplying by every time. So R is your common ratio, the number you're multiplying by every time. The little n is the toughest part. That's the term you're finding. So if we're finding the 17th term, then n is 17. Okay, so whatever term you're finding, that's your n. And just be careful, because in that exponent you have to subtract 1 from your n to use as your power. So if I'm finding the 17th term, my exponent is actually only going to be 16 because I have to subtract 1. Other than that, the rest of it is pretty straightforward, and you could just put it in your calculator. So let's look at this. The formula is given to you up at the top, and then it tells you. So you need A1, you need n, and you need r. Those are the values you need in order to use the function, okay? Find the 6th term. Flat out tells you 6th term. So 6th term, that's your n, 6. And then A1 is 3 and r is negative 5. They tell you that already, so you don't even have to go searching for it. It's already right there. R is negative 5, A was 3, or A1 was 3. Okay, now you just plug it in. Remember that the left-hand side is just notation, okay? So an, you're going to keep the a, and then the n is just 6. All that's telling you is that you're finding the 6th term. You don't actually calculate anything over there. You just write it down. A6 means the 6th term in the sequence. All of the work is done on the right-hand side. A1, they told us, we know exactly what it is. It's 3, so 3 times r is negative 5. Now, I'm going to put my r in parentheses because that'll be easier in my calculator. Instead of the dot for multiplication, I'm just going to put it in parentheses right next to it. N was 6 minus 1, because that's my formula, n minus 1. So in my calculator, I'm going to put 3 parentheses negative 5 to the 5th power, because you have to actually subtract the 6 minus 1 before you put it in your calculator. So 3 parentheses negative 5 and then little caret 5. And when I do that, I get negative 9,375. And then you say, okay, well, what is negative 9,375? My 6th term, so a sub 6 equals. And then you are done. It is just that simple. You just plug them all in and call it a day. We'll do one more. All right. Again, you need A1, you need n, and you need r in order to use your formula. Find the 5th term. Whenever it has the little th attached to it, that is your n. So my n is 5. A1 is 3. And r is 4. I was told all of that. So then I just have to plug them in. Remember, this left-hand side is just notation. It's just telling you what you're finding. So the a stays a. And we are finding the 5th term. So I write a sub 5 equals. and then I plug the rest in. A1 is 3. Again, I'm going to put my r in parentheses. My r was 4, n was 5, and I always have to subtract 1 from my exponent. So I'm going to do this subtraction before I move on. So 3 parentheses 4, and then 5 minus 1 is 4. Once you have that, you just put it in your calculator exactly how you see it. So 3 parentheses 4, and then little caret 4. And I get 768. And then what is 768? My 5th term in my sequence, so A5. So the 5th number in that sequence is going to be 768. And that is it. You've made it to your last set of notes in algebra. Woohoo! All right, this is the nth term worksheet. If you have any questions, let us know. Bye, guys.